I soon learnt that too much of that energy was poorly directed. This was a time, the mid-1980s, when the far left had taken control of the party. My first job in politics was for Frank Field, who had been deselected as MP for Birkenhead by the Entryist Group's socialist organiser. The antics of the far left taught me an unforgettable political lesson. When people become convinced of their own righteousness, the last thing they are capable of being is righteous. The politics were masculine and vicious. Claiming to act in the name of working people, the left achieved nothing beyond confirming its own purity. Today the same people are back. The Labour Party has fallen victim to a juvenile anti-capitalism and loathing of America. A party too hospitable to conspiracy theories, chief among them anti-Semitism, is sadly no longer a noble institution. The Conservative Party, meanwhile, has dragged the nation into its own private feud. Fired by too pure an account of sovereignty, the party is in the process, whimsically and chaotically, of taking Britain out of the EU for reasons it can barely remember, let alone define. The split instigated by Peel over the Corn Laws opened a fault line in conservative thought between trade and protectionism, between being open to the world and being closed off. That fault line has run through all of the party's travails over Europe, and at last it is yielding to the temptation to raise the drawbridge. It is a deeply inadequate response to a world in which connections are more extensive and more important than ever before. The two main parties have retreated inwards, and the brand of the Liberal Democrats is fatally tarnished. They are both indulging themselves in what they really think, unconcerned that what they really think is not what the nation really needs. When neither party can honour the two virtues of British politics, the country needs new leadership and new ideas. The bronze memorial to Sir Robert Peel in Bury stands today as a reproach to a political class with nothing important to say. There is no sense of popular power, and the results, measured in material progress, have ceased to flow. It is time to start again. 3 life stories. But in order to start again, we need to understand what we have lost. To understand that, we need to know how we gained it in the first place. The story of the promise of politics can be told through 3 family tales which start and end where Peel stands, in Bury. In 1788, in Chamber Hall in Bury, a boy was born into the calico printing fortune of the local mill owner. Throughout the odyssey of this young man's life, via Bury Grammar School, Harrow, Oxford University, the House of Commons, and 10 Downing Street, he retained a distinct regional accent and was regularly disparaged for cutting his jelly with a knife. He will forever be known, and to my mind admired, for breaking the mould of British politics. Today, as well as standing guard in bronze over his hometown, Sir Robert Peel lends his name to the bypass, the health centre, a public house, and the 128-foot tower, which was inaugurated the day after Peel's statue, and which overlooks the town from Holcombe Hill. Peel had great intellectual gifts and an ardent work ethic, but he was lucky enough to be born into a fortune. In time, life chances became more meritocratic. By no means fully, and by no means everywhere, but often enough for it to seem that effort plus ability, the meritocratic formula, could secure the good life. The second Bury story begins on the threshold of one world war and spans another. This is the tale of a man born in 1910, within sight of Walshaw Hall, the seat of the weaving entrepreneur James Kenyon, Conservative MP for Bury. This child stayed in his town through school, work and retirement. Though evidently bright enough for higher education, he left school at 15 to work in the textile industry, whose presence in the town owed so much to Robert Peel's father. This man worked 50 years for James Kenyon, rising from office boy to foreman. On the day he retired, he had his picture in the Bury Times, clutching a gold clock and shaking hands with the boss. The name of this man was Thomas Taylor, and he was my grandfather. Adamantine, conservative, and thirsty for the knowledge he memorized from the encyclopedia, he became a church warden and a school governor. Tom Taylor was a man of granite decency, and he was a meritocrat. He worked inordinately hard, entering every penny he earned and spent in double ledgers in his book of accounts.